Right, last time that we looked at this, which is, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 supers and a brood. Were they on a brood and a half, Stuart? No, they were 5 supers and a brood. There was a lot of bees, but there was nothing down the bottom. And then we saw a young bee on the queen excluder and went, oh no, she's up. And that was indeed the case. She was somewhere in the 5 supers. So we did what we always do, is we took the queen excluder out, which then of course opens up the brood chamber, which is usually pretty empty, for her to go down into and start laying. So we're back today. We want to take the honey off. The queen is somewhere, but generally she will be down near the brood nest. So Stuart is going through now. We can see that she has been laying very nicely down in the brood chamber since we took the queen excluder out. Some people run their bees like this. Don't ask me how they take the honey off. I'm sure that there's a knack. Though, of course, some people take off just a little bit of honey at a time. So I suppose if you're doing that, if you've only got a few hives, that's not difficult.
They do it in Eastern Europe.
Sorry?
They do it in Eastern Europe.
I know.
Apparently the queen always goes down at the end.
Right. So eventually she'll be in the bottom. Yes. So Stuart's got to go through starting in the brood. Then he's put this one over here with the queen excluder underneath it, because this was the next one up. So this is the next most likely one. And we can see that there is brood in there. Then if she's not in here, because the trouble is she may have gone up through the lot like a chimney, because she's just gone wherever's empty. So, but still, we've got the weather for it. There's plenty of cloud around, but at the moment it's sunny. They've stopped trying to kill me. When we opened them up, I was covered in bees. I got a very painful sting on the side of my hand, despite it being through 2 pair of gloves. But they've calmed down after an initial fuss, and hopefully we'll find her. I'll continue videoing just for a little while, but this could be a long process.
Well, we're going to put a new
yes,
super.
we got another super ready over there. So we'll go through all of these, and we'll put anything that has brood on it. We'll go over into that new super, and they will go onto a brood and a half for the winter. Don't want to lose any brood at this time of year. Don't really want to lose it at any time of year. Nice variety of pollen in that one. We've got green, we've got orange. We need to clean the top of those frames off before we put anything back in. Of course, she could be running about on the floor, though there's not that many bees on the floor. We've got 4 of these to sort out this autumn. We've never had that happen before. I don't know why. It could be that we've got some damaged queen excluders. I don't know.
Come back when after they mating flight and sneak through the queen excluder.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know if you caught that. They could have gone up after their mating flight. They're not as fat at that point, and just gone up at that point. However, still never had 4, and that's just the 4 that we found. And they always seem to be the feisty colonies.
We've got two.
We've got two really nasty colonies
Looking forward to that.
that, as Stuart says, we're hoping to do one this afternoon, and they're going to be, mind you, we're trying a slightly different, because the other thing you could assume that she's somewhere in the bottom too. It's particularly if they're the only ones with brood. So you could put a clearer board in, clear them down. If they clear down, she's in the bottom. If they don't clear down, if you've got a clearer board on and you take the lid off, as we did yesterday, and the bees are still all up the top, you have a queen up there. They will not clear down if the queen's up there. So if the queen is down, we could put a clearer board on. They will clear down into it. But we would still have to go through and look to see where there is brood. Can't believe how these calmed down so nicely, Stuart.
Sun.
It could. The sun, yes, it could be the sun. Also, I was on my phone speaking to somebody when I opened up, and it could be they didn't like that.
Look like you're on the phone now.
Well, I have the phone out, but I'm not speaking to somebody. Maybe it gives out different vibes, who knows? They don't seem to mind the video, ever. But they often just don't like a phone, on or off. Got a few working the Himalayan balsam here, not a lot, but some. I've no idea where the nearest river is. You'd think we were in a river valley, but there doesn't seem to be a river here. There is a bit further. We're not that far from the Towie, but this particular valley goes off at sort of right angles to the Towie, and it doesn't appear to have a river in it. The sow there goes sort of off slightly in the other direction, up a different valley. Nope, not a sign. I moved a bit then because I'm getting smoked.
Lavender flavoured smoke.
Yeah, the lavender certainly does make the smoke smell less unpleasant. There's no doubt about that. Going close so you can have a close look at these bees. It's not actually a frame that the Queen's using.
I'll have a look at that one before I go to the top.
Okay, you like that one, do you?
Good eggs on it.
Scuttle, scuttle, scuttle. We did once have a huge colony. It was huge, up just outside of Brecon, on a triple brood. And the bee inspector decided to go through it and wanted to see the queen. Well, she must have been idle curiosity. They don't have to see the queen. But sure, it did find it in the end, in a triple brood. That was, every frame was like that one is.
Yes, and she was very, very small.
Yes, or you'd have probably found her quicker. And that was, you know, just tells you she was tiny queen with 3 broods of brood, 3 brood boxes with brood.
Right, super's next.
Right. Put this back together again. I'll see if he sees anything on this next one. Are you going to put the new super over on top of that?
Yeah.
Right, let me clear those tops of those frames off so we don't squash people. Oh, girls, get off of there. We don't take this off when he puts the other in. It'll squash any bees that are there. So he's got a brand new super. Oh yeah, one of his Maysmore specials. Buys them flat pack, puts them together. Something you quite enjoy doing, isn't it, the woodwork, Stuart? Not that we've really got the time, but it is enjoyable. And of course it's much, much cheaper.
And the seconds.
And they're seconds, so they're very reasonable. He likes the fact that you don't have to put anything. He would, if this was a super, he would be putting spaces along the edges, but
Castellations.
yeah, castellations. So here we are then. So logically, if she's not in there, she ought to be in here. But of course, she could also be in there. So he's going to shake. Oh right, he's going to put one over that's got plenty of stores on. Of course, we don't know how many we're going to find with brood. We'll obviously backfill with stores.
Next one's got brood on.
Right. Yep. So we got brood on one side of that. You're going to put it over?
No, there's no brood on this.
Is there not? Ah, I thought there was. You're quite right. It's a bit of pollen. So it'll probably be one we'll give them if we need to fill. That's a nice little frame of brood. No sign of Her Majesty. And another one. So we've got Queen Excluder in there so that if she is in here she couldn't run away down, which she would be quite likely to do. They don't like the light. They always go away from it. That's why you always look at the other side when you take a frame out. Takes this frame out, you look at this side first, because that side will have had the light on it. Oh. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Check anyway. Oh, good job, nothing, because it's drone brood. This is why I wonder if she's gone up like a chimney. So do I. However, I have great faith.
I reckon she's on the bottom, but
Bother. I think
all
Stuart's,
words to that effect.
I think Stuart's thumb just got stung.
Did rather. Saved ugly enough.
Can't blame them at all when you've accidentally squeezed one, which is probably what happened.
Used to do that.
Yes, I put it there just in case you were transferring over into it. Probably this is good stuff to give them in there because it's not sealed anyway. The honey this year is extremely dry. So I had some, it was about 15 earlier.
Back to there.
Just let me knock that little tiny cluster over here. Just so you don't crush people. There we are.
Right, 2 weeks.
Right, we need to just carefully check on this queen excluder. And we need to go through the next one. If we don't find it soonish, we'll have to give it a good, we'll have to just put the clearer board on top of that one and cross everything. Bang them over. Okay. You've gone into trance. If there's no brood in this one, then that we'll call that a day, won't we, Stuart?
Yeah.
What's happened to that one? Just very settled over there.
I think she's probably on the bottom.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yes.
Brood.
Ah,
Famous last words.
yep, brood. So she could easily be in this one. In fact, could then have dashed down. So we'll probably have to keep on looking.
We will. More brood. No eggs.
Well, nowhere to lay them, I don't think.
There's a little bit of room.
More brood?
No.
Oh goodness, because that's drone.
Trying to rip my veil on the bramble behind me.
Shouldn't rip it because it's Kevlar and incredibly tough. However, please don't try.
Veils in the mask and a veil inside are no fun.
Tears in the mask and a bee inside. No fun at all, no. You've tried that. It's amazing how fast you can run. Right, so that's that one full.
How
Have to move this-
long it takes you to realise
that they're inside.
they're inside.
That bee is flying around. Which used to be, with older veils, that you felt the breeze, didn't you? You thought, whoa, that bee's in here. But with these veils, you do get a bit of breeze from the wings, sometimes actually through the veil, which is initially quite disconcerting. Right, you're going to have to go through the next lot,
Yeah.
at least. Of course, I've said they stay up because of the queen, but in reality, I think it's more they stay up because of the brood. So I suppose technically we could now, because we fiddled, think we've got the queen down there and discover that she's actually still up here. Oi, oi, no fighting, girls. There must be a stranger, I would say, has come in. No, it doesn't look as if it thinks it's a stranger. It says, get off my leg. This is the clearer board that I keep mentioning that we'll put on to take the honey off. It's a one-way valve for bees. Bees go through that hole there and then they walk along, they can only get out just there. The bees struggle to find their way back again. So they all come down at night to look after the brood, keep it warm, and then they can't find their way back up again in the morning. Very good. This was a design that a beekeeper called Tom Pegg, who's not with us anymore, told us about, and we find that these work brilliantly. Little bit of a fiddle to build, but you can buy a plastic version of that funnel there, so that would speed things up. So it doesn't look like there's any in this one. So we'd be pretty confident if it wasn't for the fact that the queen excluder, but we have got a crown board underneath this one. Oops. Yeah, I've done a bit of brace across, it makes a mess. Do that to it so I can get it back. Let it getting squashed. Are you going to put the ones that were not sealed into there? Makes sense. full. 2 more to look at. And then we'll just fill that gap there with the...
Well, we'll have a look at the top one of these because you can guarantee it's not going to be filled.
Can you?
Well, I'd have thought it was the last one because I think we got under supering when we got over a certain height.
Well, you're more confident than me. I'm amazed that that isn't full of robin bees. So, I think that top one's completely full. Bulging.
Yeah.
Bulging. Oh, okay.
Just get rid of this wax.
That's from the spring when we didn't put the supers on quick enough. And then in the summer the supers were all empty. But still they did have it to eat, which is what it's for. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do now then?
Backfill this.
Okay, but not with this.
4 5, no, with this.
Yeah, and some from the bottom
Yeah.
one. Do you not want to put the crown board back on again? That's just smoke. There's too much smoke around the... that's because if he doesn't clean that off, when he puts it back on again, the bees will have immediately gone to clear up any honey that's now exposed, and he'll squash them. So he's got to clear that off. They really are behaving beautifully, these bees. They may not be pleased to see us, but they're sort of accepting it. Nice lot of pollen going in. Bright, well, not bright, sort of brick orange pollen. Oh well, you're not going to need to have much in the way of, are you? Because you've given them full. Doesn't matter. Yes, yes, I thought you were going to give the unsealed that was in the bottom. It doesn't matter, you've done it now. We are generous with our bees. We don't need to steal all their honey. So. So you're going to put another one at the back. Oh, right. Is that what they got underneath? Okay. Don't they put a lot of brace comb in there? Okay.
There'd be a brood and a half in it.
Yeah. I thought you normally put 11 in the
I tried to,
top.
but I thought to myself we're going to be wasting an awful lot of honey. Or maybe we'd have to go through again.
Okay. Right, I'm turning off.